guys, I'm Zara and I'm thrilled to be doing my very first video book review for OnlineBookClub.org. Before we dive into my opinions on We Are Voulhire, A Great Arrival Under New Skies by Matthew Ties, let's take a look at our book. The land of princes is home to rampant war and poverty, breeding unrest and unhappiness amid its inhabitants. From this land emerges Galen, a refugee on his way to Magnum Calum in Voulhire to take over his estranged late uncle's estate. In his first days at Magnum Calum, Galen meets a variety of new people and begins to discover himself and the culture of Voulhire. Voulhire is a prosperous land with all the tools necessary to attain perfection. Amid the chaos of those implications rises Meldorath, a powerful mage who faced execution for experimenting on humans, but is rumored to have survived and been imprisoned, awaiting his chance at return. In the aftermath of Meldorath's capture, King Wilhelm of Voulhire and other notable political figures try to contain his influence and regain control before the Riva Rohavi rebel forces come to destroy them all. Now let's dive into some of my opinions, starting with my favorite parts. Number 1, humor. This book had lots of comical relief, and it was really refreshing from other books I've been reading lately. Albeit the jokes being a bit crude at times, they were funny, so I would recommend this if you're looking for a little bit of light humor. Number 2, Rowan. Rowan is one of Galen's first friends at Magnum Calum, and if you're a fan of the witty, charismatic, smirking character trope, I would say that this book might be for you. He's really funny and clever, and I just liked how he stayed consistent throughout the book, and I look forward to seeing what he's going to be doing in the future installments of this series. Personally, I might have liked it if I could have had a little bit more backstory and insight to the motivations of the characters throughout this book, but I'm hoping that Mr. Ties left that open-ended on purpose a little bit for future installments in the series. Number 3, world building. Voulhire and the Land of Princes have a very complex political history. It was a little hard to follow for me at first, but I think that Mr. Ties does a wonderful job of really developing all that there is that belongs in a world. He goes in depth on everything from culture to religious practices to traditions and everything that you would expect from a good fantasy novel. So if you're looking to escape to a magical world that's nothing like Earth, then I would recommend this book because you really do get a full fleshed out world to enter. Now we're moving on to my not so favorite parts. Number 1, this book was confusing. I know that with fantasy novels, authors are faced with that problem of info dumping or not giving it enough context and having the reader lost in the dark. I think this book did a pretty good job of that if you read the extended reading. I started this book and I got a few chapters in and I wasn't really following everything, so I went back and I restarted it just so that I could make sure I was really understanding what was going on, and I found the extended reading. My understanding of the book increased dramatically because I was finally understanding the plot points of the book, so I would definitely recommend the extended reading to those of you starting out in the series. Overall, I rate this book with a 4 out of 4 stars. Although the universe was a little hard for me to follow at first, I think that this book had an interesting plot, comic relief, and some great characters. There was phenomenal writing that was generally transportative to the environs of the characters, which is something that I personally look forward to when I'm reading. The target audience for this book is probably people who love fantasy reading and like to enter new worlds through their words. And anyone who loves action-packed adventure will love this book. Due to some crude jokes and profanity, I don't think that this book is suitable for children, so probably just teens, young adults, and adults. I look forward to reading deeper in the series, and that's all my thoughts for this book. Thanks for listening. Comment why you love fantasy reading down below, like, subscribe, and make sure to follow me on Instagram at bookmarkbyz. See you next week.